For 2, I think I got a couple of these wrong here. I couldn't figure out, and I might have it right now. I couldn't figure out if I did G right. But
any underapplied or overapplied overhead for the period was closed out to cost of goods sold. Yeah, that closing out thing, that's confusing stuff.
I guess let's just walk through it. I think I got most of these right here, but so for A, raw materials were purchased for cash. I took credit on the cash for $75,000, and then I debited raw materials for $75,000.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then, so for B, there was $71,700 in raw materials used for production. So I credited raw materials for that amount. And then it says that part of it was used for direct materials and the rest was used for indirect. So if I'm remembering right, I think direct materials are work in progress process, and then indirect go to manufacturing overhead.
And it's a debit in both. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
And that's, so let me grab up my calculator real quick. I gotta subtract those two.
So I've already used my 2 free do-overs, and I know I have one part of this wrong. So after we're done, if you figure something out, or if you run your hint, it might help me figure it out, because I was stumped on it.
Yeah, okay, so let me just reiterate that last one. So I got raw materials is a credit right there. Credit. And then credit to raw materials, right? And then that amount was 66, so that is going to be a debit to work in progress and a debit to manufacturing overhead.
That's right.
For the direct labor and the indirect labor. Okay. Additional manufacturing overhead costs. 126.4.
So you on C now?
Oh yeah, you're right, yeah.
So
total
C,
labor wages.
Let me see if I got my note here, why I did this one. So I think this one's right here. So indirect labor, you would debit manufacturing overhead and credit salaries and wages. And then direct labor would be debit work in process, credit salaries and wages. So that's what I did here. I took the total.
You did the indirect labor is the manufacturing overhead. That's a debit to manufacturing overhead.
That's right.
And then the direct labor was work in progress.
Yep. Debit to work in process, and then
or process. Yeah, I always say progress because it's like rolls off the tongue.
It makes more sense anyway.
Right. All right, and then the total labor wage. That one is, what is that one?
So they don't have the
cash.
Yeah, it's cash because they don't have an account for the salaries and wages.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I got 134 there and 15.7 there, and the credit on the other side, so that should be fine. Okay.
So for D, I'm pretty sure this is right. I don't remember for exactly, but the additional manufacturing overhead costs of 125,700, they were incurred and paid. And because it said paid, I credited cash.
Yeah. Okay.
And then put the rest in manufacturing overhead.
So that's 1.26.4. Okay. That's that.
So next one, I'm not sure on, but I did it like this. I took, because it said applied to jobs, I think that it means that it's a credit in manufacturing overhead, and the debit goes in work in process because it's to jobs.
So yeah, so it's a credit. It's a credit in manufacturing overhead. That's right.
I think so.
And then a debit in work in process. Predetermined overhead rate. Yeah, that would make sense. Because that you're going to debit your inventory and work in process. The manufacturing overhead, I'm trying to wrap my brain around the credit on that side, but I think that's right. I think I remember looking at
that. This is the one of them that I get really confused on. So I don't know if that one's right.
That was that looks like number 7 in the reading. Remember how it had all those journal entries, and at number 7, the 7th journal entry, which I think it's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's going to be right. Okay, yeah.
All right, so then F. So I think this is right on this one. All the jobs in progress at the end of the month were completed and shipped to the customer. So you would just go from work in process total and put that into debit of finished jobs. So I credited the total of these, 320, 200, and then debited this one. And then G is where I got confused again.
Hang on, wait a second. So you did work in process. So to clear that out, we credited that side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you do on the next one? We move it to finished goods, but you have it on both the credit and the debit?
Well, you'll see why in a minute.
Oh, because we have to clear that account too. I got you. I'm with you now.
I think I did that right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because we got to clear that down to cost of goods sold, right? Okay. And then closed out to cost of goods sold.
So, and then G is like 2 parts. It says any underapplied or overapplied overhead for the period was closed out to cost of goods sold. And so I don't know if I did this right, but I took 28,000 that was
from
negative
the manufacturing overhead.
And I credited it and then debited cost of goods sold.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I just don't know if I do anything with this balance of raw material. That was my doubt, and I wasn't sure if I got this right or not.
I think you leave it just like that. I think that's right.
If you try to run a test on it to see if that's right, because that will tell me if I'm wrong or right then, because I don't know.
So we closed out that one and that one. Yeah, that's got to be right. So cost of goods sold is that, and then we have you've got 3,300 left over in raw materials, which is you just have that sitting on the shelf anyway.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm just.
Here, let me do the cost of goods sold at the bottom.
That's just the
That's
total.
just 3,4. Yeah, 8,0,0. All right, let me check it. It says I got everything green, but it says that my answer is not complete.
That's what mine said, and that's why I don't know. I don't know what I missed. I thought it was something to do with G, because it says any under-applied or over-applied overhead. But I only had this overhead of 28,000, so I really don't know. I had one mistake my first time with this number, and then I ran it again and it said that, and then I was like lost.
Well, how is the cost of goods sold at the bottom and everything correct?
Right?
Because if that's correct, then that means that the manufacturing overhead should be correct, and the finished goods should be correct, and the work in progress should be correct, right?
The only thing I could think is if there's something to do with, do I need to do something with raw material or cash? I don't know. That's what I was thinking, but I just didn't see what I would need to do if I need to do anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm glad that you don't know too then, because I didn't know. I thought it was done right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it says everything on there is right, but it just says that it's not complete. It says that there needs to be something else.
Yeah, I don't know.
So okay, so
I went through this whole thing here. I
Yeah.
watched the whole video. It's basically the same thing except different numbers.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. Here, let me play the end part, because that was where. Overhead for the Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit.
Let me turn my. Tell me if you can hear it now.
I can't hear it. No.
Okay. I'll turn it on the speakers, but you'll hear yourself too. Just so you know.
Okay.
So this is the only thing I was thinking right at the end here.
Therefore, we need to debit manufacturing overhead for the difference over applied overhead. Debit manufacturing overhead for $12,000 and credit cost of goods sold for $12,000. This completes requirement 1. Requirement 2 asks us to compute the total cost of goods sold. We take the $510,000 and subtract the adjustment for over-applied overhead, $12,000, to obtain a cost of goods sold balance of $498,000. This means that our income statement will show cost of goods sold for the month of $498,000. This completes requirement 2.
So I didn't do that over here. I put the G in the positive side of cost of goods sold. But the number was right.
Yeah, and I have a green check mark next to mine right there, and mine's the same kind of thing as what yours is.
Okay.
Can you see mine? I shared my screen with you so you can see that.
Yeah, let me see. Oh, yeah. So I don't know then. I just don't know.
I wish it gave you a little bit more direction, like last semester, where it would actually have a box of something where you needed to fill it in or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just so blank and vague. It's hard to tell what is going on.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, let's move on, and then
Okay.
maybe I'll go through and watch that whole video and that whole hint and see if there's anything that I can come up with.
So I think I got one of these wrong. So this will be another good one to help me. So it's pretty much the same thing, except they have you do it in a different format.
Yeah.
They give you like this little worksheet to do one at a time. And I actually like this way better.
Yeah.
So for A, said we purchased raw materials on an account for $209,000. So I debited my raw material inventory and I credited my accounts payable.
Yep.
Then for 2, we took some of those raw materials and put them into use. $191,000 total were taken out of our raw material. $152,80 was direct. $38,200 was indirect. So I set it up like that. Go similar to the last one.
Yeah. Let me do this math real quick. So this one is $5,100. Okay, and then 37,800. And then total raw materials. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yep. All right. That's good.
So for C, I just split it up between work in process and overhead again. And then credited the salaries and wages for the total.
Where's it at? $71. Yeah. All right, that's cool.
And then for number 4, I recorded the depreciation of factory equipment as a overhead, manufacturing overhead debit.
Yep.
And then a credit to accumulated depreciation. And I remember office equipment is a little different when we do that. It's a different account, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, because it's not manufacturing overhead, right? It's something else.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Number 5.
And so
Manufacturing overhead costs.
I only knew how to do this one because it actually says credit accounts payable. But I was like, who do I credit? And then I read that. So other
That's
manufacturing.
funny.
Yeah, right.
Whoa. 131, 131. All right.
So this one here is where you take your machine hours times your predetermined rate, and the manufacturing overhead cost rate is determined and debited to work in process, and then it's credited from manufacturing overhead, because this is the predetermined rate that they're applying to production.
Right. So work in progress. Or process. I got to get that down. Work in process.
I think this one's right here, but when I looked it up in my notes, I think it was right. Let me look up here. So
Yep. Okay, 6. Production orders costing $514 according to their job cost sheets completed during October and transferred to finished goods.
So yeah, that's what I have here. Debit to work in process, credit to manufacturing overhead. So number 7 we're on?
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, debit finished goods.
Credit work in process.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay.
Number 8, record the cost of goods sold. This one was just, I think I had to add something up. Let's see here. No, I didn't. It was just what was transferred over. So it was cost of goods sold was 448. Can't remember how I got that though.
So I think that's just the number that they give you there.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah, it is. Sorry. 448 to complete their jobs cover cost sheets were shipped, and so those shipped goods were put into finished goods.
Yeah.
And then the second part of H is where I got confused a little bit. And I think this is right, but you might have to check it because I didn't have enough hints to check it. But so the accounts receivable and sales are what I did. The sales amount, I took that total times 1.32 for the sales price.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So So 622, 380. Okay.
And so after that part, this is where I got lost. I think I got manufacturing overhead right, but I'm not sure about the work in process. I just finished this when you called.
Yeah.
And oh, I have a check my work left. I'm going to do that. Oh, no, I don't. It lied to me.
Darn it.
But what I did was I just looked, I changed the format to view general journal. And then I just took my manufacturing overheads, and every time there was a debit, I'd record the debit.
Yeah.
Should have been, I think, 4 of those. And one, oh, I think I missed one. There's the one credit, 609, 600.
Okay, so I have, let's count just to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, so 5 manufacturing overheads. That's what you had. Yep, 4 and 1. Okay. And then work in progress.
I don't know why I have G here. It's probably wrong.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's not. It's right there. I see it now.
So the beginning balance, where did you get that beginning balance at?
It says it right here. Prepare T accounts for
right there.
manufacturing.
Okay, there you go. 36,000 there. Okay, so 151, 50. Four, 58, 400. 5, 14. Okay, yeah, that looks, ours looked about the same right there.
All right. Can you run your number, see if it's right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, nope. The bottom says the top is correct, but the bottom says it's not complete again.
Okay. See, I'm missing something. That I did the same thing. I don't know what it is.
Huh. Okay. Manufacturing overhead. It's so vague. This not complete thing is just like, it's so open to anything. You have to absolutely recheck everything instead of giving you some direction.
Okay, let's go over this here. All right. Trying to see if any of these will spark a memory or something.
Work in progress.
So I understand the cost of clearing an account, but so maybe that's what I'm forgetting to do. Clear the account? No, because there's no spot.
Yeah, it's
because actual manufacturing costs are charged to the manufacturing overhead control account rather than the work in process. How are manufacturing overhead costs assigned to work in process? The answer is by means of the predetermined overhead rate. Recall from our discussion earlier, that's why the rate goes into the credit and not the, so I know that's right. Anyways, I don't know. I really don't. Do you think you could send an email to our instructor and let me know if she says anything? Because I have no more tries, but I can still change stuff if we figure it out.
Yeah, I'll keep working on it and maybe send an email off and see what's going on and see if I can get some direction on this one and the
I think it's probably
one.
a one concept that we didn't grasp or I didn't grasp because I don't know what it could be.
It's just interesting that the top is right and the bottom's wrong. So I think it might be clearing an account or something like that, but
All right, want to do 4?
yeah.
So for 4, I got a little confused on this one too, actually. It has all these different accounts and their balances. And basically it says the overhead that had been applied to production during the year is distributed among the ending balances in the accounts as follows. So that's this 420,000 right here. And so that 420,000 of overhead that's been applied came from these 3 accounts, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I kind of understand that concept. And this first part seems pretty straightforward. It says, for an example of the 79,200 in the ending balance in work in process, 25,200 was overhead that had been applied during the year. So if you look up here, you can see the 79,200 balance that's left over. And then it says, identify the reasons for the entries A through D. So entry A was a debit to the manufacturing overhead, and I put that was the actual manufacturing cost for the year.
Yep. Okay.
I think that's right. And then B, it says, what is B? That's a credit to the manufacturing overhead, and that's done by the predetermined numbers, right? So I put
Right.
it's overhead costs applied to the work in process for the year, and that could be wrong. I don't know, but I think that's what it says, because it says here, applying manufacturer's overhead, credit manufacturer's overhead, debit work in process.
Right.
And so that you can see that happening right here.
Yeah, I think that's right too. I think that makes sense. That's your predetermined rate times your quantity, whatever, right?
Uh-huh. And then
Okay.
C, cost of goods manufactured for that year. So C, finished goods, work in process. I think that's right.
Right.
And then D is the last part, going from finished goods to cost of goods sold, and so they're shipped. So that's the cost of goods sold for the year.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense because it's just right there.
This part I'm not sure if I got right, this last portion here. But give me your thoughts on how you would record the adjustment of manufacturing overhead account to cost of goods sold. So here, I think it's this, because we have a balance of 40,000.
Yeah.
I think I would debit manufacturing and credit cost of goods. But I'm not sure on that.
And that would be, okay.
And that would just clear out the account.
Right.
But I don't know if that's what it's asking, to be honest with you.
So
I know that we have more manufacturing overhead charges than we had money in the account. So it's really a negative account right now. You know what I mean?
right.
So that's why I thought if we put 40,000 in there, it'll balance it out, and then but it'll just cost us more money.
So
Assume that the company closes any balance in the manufacturing overhead account directly to cost of goods sold. Prepare the necessary journal entry.
So I've got that.
So this is recording the adjustment, and that's why I think it's 40,000. But again, I don't know.
So progress. Yeah, $5,000 debit to the cost of. No, what was that? $5,000 debit to manufacturing overhead. So yeah, and then they go directly to cost of goods sold. Yeah, yeah, that's right. That should be.
Can you check yours to see if it's right?
I think that's it. Yeah. Here, let me. Hey, that one's right.
Oh, all right.
Perfect.
So we can redo this. What? Oh, you've not completed questions 2 and 3.
So that's because there's spots that aren't filled in, right? That.
I think so, yeah.
But what and where are they?
I don't know. I don't know.
What's really weird to me is that the cost of goods sold is right.
Right?
On like number 2.
I'm going to email Sister Powell. Excuse me.
We need to get Josh on the line, and then we can use his check my work as well.
Yeah, I know it.
He hasn't responded to much, though. I haven't seen him on any emails or anything yet.
Yeah, just the one day he said he was going to be here, he emailed me and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm running late. I actually can't make it."
Yeah.
And so I said, "All right," and I sent him a copy of our video. But I haven't heard anything since then.
I hope he can make it in the future, because that would be
I need
really
the help.
helpful. Yeah, I need the help too. Costs. Okay, so that.
So let me.
Let's see, is that correct material?
So I'm going to just save and exit mine for now. I'm going to look over some more of the reading, try to see if I missed something.
Yeah, that sounds good. If you find anything, let me know. When do we have to turn this in? Tomorrow?
Yeah, it's due tomorrow.
So yeah, if we can go through it, and if you figure anything out, take a screenshot or whatever and send it to me.
Yeah, we'll do. And I'm waiting to hear back from our instructor, so if she replies. Sometimes she's helpful, and I have emailed her probably already 5 times, and she's helped me a few of them.
Yeah. Well, cool. Maybe I'll email her too, just to,
Yeah, that'd be good.
cover all the bases. All right.
All right, hey, have a good night, and thanks for your help. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you do the same. Thank you. We'll talk to you. When are we going to meet again?
Friday, but we could probably meet up tomorrow too if you want to go over this before we have to turn it in.
Yeah, just tomorrow. I think I'm free about the same time, right around now. Just send me an email or whatever, and that sounds good to me.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. Have a good one.
All right. Take care, John.
Bye-bye.